Hey, Leo, Mel, intuitive coach here, excited to bring in your February 2025 monthly reading. If you're interested in a personal reading, signing up for the monthly newsletter, or entering into the free reading giveaway, you can find all of that information in the description box below the video. All right, Leo, what is going on for you? Key themes: finances, mending, and you have the bliss card. This is pretty beautiful. The bliss is like the sun card, and I do feel like you are mending a situation. Maybe finances are coming together. If you have struggled with health, I see that there's going to be maybe some breakthroughs in health for you. You have the sun card at the bottom of the deck, and you have the bliss card, which is what I'm talking about here. And these two go hand in hand. When I created this card, I had the sun in mind. And this is about, creating that heaven on earth for yourself. Some of you may really benefit from an extra dose of vitamin D. Getting outside, getting that sunshine on your face. Perhaps you're traveling this month as well, or you're preparing for it. I do see an energy of moving on. Yeah, moving on. You have the Six of Swords. There's the moving on, and trusting your intuition, because you are being guided at this time to move forward. You have the High Priestess, which is about trusting your intuition. I feel like you're keeping something to yourself. All right. You could be keeping something to yourself at this time. Yeah. The moon. It's like you're not putting it out there yet, but you will, because this is quite exciting, and you don't want other people to rain on your parade in a sense, or you don't want naysayers to jeopardize your happiness, right? And I just feel like you are building momentum. And when you are fully ready to transform, which is the Death card, when you are fully ready for this, when you feel like you've finally come to this place of, mending what's needed to be mended, then you're spreading your wings and you're taking off. You have the King of Wands at the bottom of the deck. He's also pointing to the map. Is someone moving? Okay, someone could be moving here, traveling, or relocating. Perhaps you are waiting on finances to come through. Perhaps you've dealt with a financial challenge is what I'm getting. Maybe look at that gossip. And that's why you're keeping something to yourself, because you don't want to partake in the drama. Yeah, there could be people talking about you here, but I also see that it's not your, not your monkeys, not your circus. You don't have to put your energy towards that. And I see that you're willing to minimize drama and act with integrity is what I'm getting. Standing in your integrity. That's the King of Wands. And you're not going to let other people bully you. Why am I getting bullying? Are you being bullied here, Leo? I feel like you are standing up for yourself in some way, or you're moving on from maybe an environment that has felt a little bit intimidating, and you're moving towards something a lot more aligned. Yeah, Six of Pentacles also at the bottom of the deck with the King of Wands. You're moving towards something that feels a lot more aligned with your path, with your purpose and your mission. I'm getting the Hermit here, even though I don't have the Hermit out on the board. I mean, we are in a 9-year Leo, so perhaps some of you have felt a little bit hermited, or again, you've just kept to yourself, but you're going through an awakening that's bringing some sort of enlightenment. That's what the bliss is. That's what the sun is enlightenment here. So you are being enlightened moving forward, and you know that there's a new path ahead. You know that there's a new path ahead. You know that change is brewing here, and you're being guided to trust the process. There's going to be news coming in here for you. News that allows you to spread your wings and take off towards this new path, this new journey. The sword. Wow. Yeah. And how interesting. As soon as I said the sword, Spirit had me look down to the Death card. And the Death card, this Grim Reaper looking guy, is holding a sword, and there's a rope right in front of him. And I feel like this is the sword that cuts through the BS, cuts through, the feeling of, shadow or illusion. This is also the cord that will be cut or is being cut at this time, that has had you backed up into a corner. The Nine of Wands, this is a renewed sense of determination as you fully release something and move towards your heaven on earth. So let's dive in, because this is going to be a big one here. You have the High Priestess, the Moon, the Death card as some big major arcana. So let's see how this rolls out for you. Now, finances. Some of you are being cut off from a source. Maybe this is an income source. Perhaps there's been, a settlement here. And the reason I say cut off, it actually is a good thing. Okay, this isn't a bad cut off, like, okay, now I can't survive, I can't pay the bills. And the reason why I say that is because you have the mending and the bliss right next to it. So even if something has been cut off here for you, I sense that it is to put you on the path towards more opportunity, more possibility here for you to create that heaven on earth. And for some of you, it is about trusting your intuition and maybe even embracing your intuitive gifts and possibly monetizing in some way those intuitive gifts. Perhaps you're starting a YouTube, tarot channel. For others of you, you could be trusting your intuition when it comes to like the stock market or cryptocurrency, something that may feel a bit risky. This is also about payouts, actually payouts. So even if something is ending, it feels like there is a payout. Now, I also sense this could be an inheritance. Okay, so there could be money coming that is owed to you after someone or something was cut off, because it feels like there's a silver lining in this. It feels like it may be a bit bittersweet, but you've come to the end of the cycle. Nine of Wands means you don't have to feel, pressurized, like you are in that pressure cooker at any time, ready to kind of explode. If you were dealing with a family drama, family settlement due to some loss or an inheritance, I just feel like there will be a payout. Okay, but there had to be something that took place, of course, before this payout or before this energy was to come together. And yeah, I just feel like you're keeping your nose clean. You're staying out of trouble here. You're trying to mind your own P's and Q's, and you're kind of keeping on the lowdown until this cutoff happens, or until this finalization. That's what we're going to call it. Cutoff seems extreme, but I'm getting now finalization. So until this is finalized, then you are able to kind of spread your wings. Then you can maybe share this or tell people or put it out there, launch it, move direction, embrace that new path with open arms. Because the finance card is also about abundance, savings, assets, banks. You may even be going in for a raise or a position, but you're keeping it on the lowdown because there's someone else that is maybe going for that same position. Or perhaps you are, moving. Maybe you're pregnant. I mean, whatever this is, it just feels like you're kind of on that lowdown, like I said, but you are investing in something quite lucrative, quite profound. And I feel like you're reinvesting some of your energy into a happier path versus one that feels very stressed out, because your energy is now focused on this path, this direction, instead of having to put all of your energy towards this, illusion or drama or whatever it may have been for you. Whatever had caused the mending to take place in the first place. So this is coming together: forgiveness, healing, repairing, therapy, psychic surgery. I have been getting the message for quite some time, specifically over the last even 4 to 6 weeks, but this has been something my guys have been telling me for a while, is we've been going through a shift that involves upgrading our DNA, right? New codes that are coming in. I know it sounds crazy, but it, probably not to you because you're here watching, but we are upgrading our cellular DNA. Because of course you're familiar with DNA, the color of our eyes and our hair and things of that nature. But there's also a part of the DNA that maybe people have called it junk DNA because they can't quite figure out or they're not quite sure what it's used for. But that so-called junk DNA is our divine spiritual purpose, our divine blueprint. It has the codes to access our Akashic records. And I feel like a lot of you, if you've been going through this quote unquote awakening for quite some time, as we all have been, you may even have noticed changes in your body, changes in your perspective, sensitivities that are showing up for you that maybe you didn't have in the past. But I feel like there's also a lot of repair work happening. And you may have even gone through a physical surgery as well. But I see a recovery. There's something about recovery. And I will tell you this, there's something about a full on recovery, miracle. So if someone has said to you, this cannot be recovered, or you will never come back from this, or this is something you'll have to live with, I say challenge that. Challenge that, get another opinion, because it feels like you are able to disconnect from that old energy and fully embrace this full on happiness and live life in a very abundant way. This is the yes card. If you have a question, am I going to get that offer, or is this the best move for me? Whatever your query is today, Leo, this is the yes card. Keep moving forward here. Things are coming together. You will reach that level of, whether this be financial abundance for yourself. This can be, if there's a payout coming in here, this is a new income source for some of you, but it's leading directly towards, or I should say, because you're shifting on what's going on within, it is leading to a change in your outer world. Now, bottom of the deck, you have intuition. You also have the High Priestess here. This month specifically is going to be a month where we all are being guided to go within, trust, and listen to our intuition, because there is discernment needed. Now, I don't know if it's because globally there's going to be some changes collectively, or if this is, personally for many of us, there will be that voice within that is guiding you towards that new path. And it could be that this is the sweep of, that DNA upgrade. There's a couple of different sweeps is how Spirit has shown me, but I feel like it's important that you are aware. It is important that you meditate more. Be sure that you and your spiritual practices, you and your guides, you and your intuition are tight. Okay, you are besties. And this is the time to strengthen that bond if you haven't, or if you've been slacking. Okay, intuition here is shining through, like shining quite literally with the Bliss card. Now, diving into the tarot, you have Page of Pentacles. Pages represent news. I feel like there could be some news here coming in of your hard work paying off. This could also be maybe a message regarding a taxes, checks, investments, a job, a financial win. This is good. I feel like this is a blessing here. And it is allowing you to change direction, change course, or, to lay down some sort of map where you can finally feel like you're moving forward, like you have a direction here. Whenever I see this Page of Pentacles, I see him flipping a coin, and I always hear that song, Heads, California, Tails, is it Heads, Carolina, Tails, California? Yeah, it just feels like there's a flipping of a coin here. There may be a 50-50. Maybe that's showing up. Also, I'm getting raffle. So if there's a raffle that you are attending, you could win. All right, you could win a prize. You could win, a settlement. This is winning that position, that offer. I'm getting a win, W-I-N, showing up. So there is a win that is really beautiful here. Now, Six of Swords. Six of Swords says that you're moving towards a journey, I feel, of learning, of self-investment, because it's tethered to the Page of Pentacles. This is about you learning some new skills or training. This is about you being goal-oriented because you've spent some time reflecting on your commitments. You've spent some time considering, additional education or considering this new path ahead. And now you are getting focused. You are, staying disciplined here. You're staying loyal to this path and you're ready to move on. And maybe you were waiting for that choice to be made. Perhaps you were waiting to get, the money, the funds. Perhaps you were waiting until you were fully healed in some way. But this is the green light. And then we have the High Priestess here with the Moon. That is why it's so very important to trust your intuition, because there could be a lot of illusions. Sometimes that moon can be illusions. It can be secrets. And like I said, you may just be keeping something to yourself. You may be keeping it hidden from others so they don't, expose something, or they don't kind of taint your happiness in some way. The full moon could be very significant in the month of February. Now, I'm not quite sure what date that lands on, but because we have the moon card, I see that things are going to be, you're going to be releasing, letting go. Maybe that's part of when this ending and beginning shows up for you, because you see that this door is closed in the background, but this door is cracked open and that light is shining through. Don't resist this change. And I don't feel like you are. You're excited about this change, but there could be other people that are trying to hold you back, right? There could be other people that are blocking you in some way or jeopardizing your path ahead. And that's why you're keeping something to yourself. I also sense that if you are becoming more sensitive to the world at large or what's around you, you may want to disconnect, right? Disconnect from social media, or perhaps you don't, share in some sort of happiness, because you are meant to move in this new path. And if people cannot be happy for you, then you may be questioning, why am I putting my energy towards these people or this person? Because I just feel like there's someone or a group of people that may be holding you back in some way, holding you back from your, your happiness. And the Nine of Wands is tethered here to the Death card. So the Nine of Wands is saying, all right, it's time. It's time to reignite that bravery. You have one last external hurdle here. It feels like there's a renewed sense of determination, the final cut, the final piece, the final completion, in order for you to move on. Because what we have ahead is the King of Wands and the Six of Pentacles. There's your reciprocity. There's your balance. There's your boundaries. This is, establishing resources that may come from unexpected places. For some of you, you already know, where these resources are coming in, but there could be a larger amount for some of you than maybe you had thought. There may be a larger refund here, a larger settlement. It feels quite good. It feels quite good. And I do see there's something about like global funds for those of you that may be influencers, or you are maybe a traveler, you work in the travel industry. There could be international funds as well. Yeah, I just feel like there's something being balanced out. Maybe this has to do with visas or passports. You could be moving. Maybe you're traveling internationally. It just feels like finally, after keeping this to myself or keeping something on the lowdown, you're able to share it with people that you trust. You're able to build with people that you trust, because you listen to your intuition, and there's enough coming in. You see that she's sharing what she has, and she's brought a basket of food and she has some extra coins. So I feel like there's generosity. Yeah, this is the energy of generosity. It's like the universe is being generous. You are being generous because you're not stuck in, a scarcity or poverty conscious mentality. The King of Wands is beautiful. He's an influencer. He marches to the beat of his own drum. I mean, he is you, Leo. And I mean, he or she, it doesn't matter, but you could be a leader. You could be a leader in your industry. You may be called to go on a new adventure, to use your resources effectively here, to expand upon your resources, to expand your reach in some way. That's exactly what it is. Expanding your reach, opening yourself up in some way. Create and set some healthy, maybe time boundaries as well. I like where you're going. All right, let's look at health. What do we have for health? Now, because we have the surgery card here, I mean, like I said, some of you may have had some sort of back surgery, hip surgery, knee replacement. I'm also getting here spinal infusion, something with the spine. All right. For others of you, there could be issues around the sacral chakra, which is about 2 inches below the navel. Because I have the moon here with the high priestess, this can be menstrual. It can be the place of life, creativity, birth. It can be endometriosis. It can be cysts. It can be menopause. It can be hormonal changes as well, or scar tissue, maybe colonoscopy. It can be bladder, urine, things of that nature as well, so keep that in mind. But again, you're on the healing path. You're mending something here, but there may be like one last checkup or some final blood work, or a final, I mean, some of you, this is, you're victorious over cancer. You are a survivor. They're showing me the ribbon, the pink ribbon. So maybe some of you, it is breast cancer, but of course it can be overcoming, any sort of cancer. And I feel like you go in for one last visit and you're clear. You're in the clear here. Okay, what else do we have for health? We have here, investing. There's something you're learning about your health. You could be learning how to eat better, take better care of your body. You may be learning a new, practice such as like Pilates or yoga, or I'm getting someone riding a bike as well, maybe Peloton. There's circular motion in the hips, joints, the joints here. I'm getting where the bones connect as well. What else do we have for health? Sometimes the death card can be something quick, like an onset illness, but I mean, it can even be like about a food poisoning as well, or it can be like a quick energy. Pay attention to inhalation. Okay, maybe things that you can't always see, like mold spores, or like carbon monoxide, or gases, paints, things like that. So be mindful of the different smells. I mean, I feel like you would smell this per se, but because I see all of the gases or like ammonias, I mean, if you work with paints or if you work with certain, in a certain industry, I mean, that could be showing up. This could be airborne is what I'm getting. There may be an airborne like virus or bacteria, something of that nature that shows up. But again, quick onset, and I feel like you will mend or you will recover. So maybe that vitamin D that I mentioned earlier, get some extra doses of vitamin C and D. All right, let's look at wealth, money, career, finances. Finances are improving, okay, after maybe a period of trying to come up with some new income sources or trying to work on increasing or expanding them. There's been some gossip here, maybe gossip about maybe a company going under or some cuts with the death card. Excuse me. This is about maybe even some personal drama that has gotten in the way with your finances. Okay. But I feel like you are moving on from that. You're moving on from it. You're not paying attention to it. You have the cutlery card. This is business tools. Someone may be putting away silverware at this time, maybe even getting some new silverware, perhaps cleaning out your silverware drawer. But oftentimes, what's missing here is the spoon. And I always say it's hard to eat soup with a fork. So you have to ask yourself, are you in the right environment, or is there a new resource that you need to add to the mix? Because is it the spoon that's actually missing, or is it the soup? that maybe a new meal needs to be looked at. So you have some tools coming in, resources coming in. This is also about needing more money. Some of you could even be the breadwinner, the sole provider. You want to live well, of course. Maybe this is food related. You may work in the food industry. I also see you, again, I keep getting the word resources. So there may be additional resources that you're tapping into that can help you in your career. You have change. There's a change for the better coming your way. Embrace it. I love it. I mean, the Death card does bring change. Endings bringing in new beginnings. You see that door is closed because a new one has opened here. Or whatever come first, the chicken or the egg, right? Maybe this new opportunity has come. Therefore, you're able to close the door to the past. Perhaps something is ending, which forces, a new beginning to come in. But either way, I feel like it's abundant. Just because you don't see any movement doesn't mean nothing is happening. For some of you, that could be part of it. That's why you're asked to trust your intuition, because again, the high priestess and the moon, that's kind of works behind the scenes. We don't always see it. I feel like there may be something, again, I've said this a million times, on the lowdown, but spirit is working on your behalf. You have the Buddha card. It also says sometimes to see the change, you must be the change. So are you the Death card here? Are you the one going through this transformation? Absolutely. Are you the one that is liberating yourself? You're the Phoenix rising. So again, be open to change is the message. And your final card here is the Buddha. This is life purpose, more than money. It's spiritual wealth. Now, I see money coming in here, but money doesn't solve everything. Money can help, of course, but this is a spiritual path, spiritual mission. It's spiritual wealth. Some of you are counselors, again, influencers. You're being guided here to move towards your divine path. And that's the message I keep getting for you. So again, there's a new opportunity here, Page of Pentacles, to move forward in your career. And even though there may be some uncertainty, you may not have the answers yet, I do feel like this will bring in a new transition, a new position here for you. So you don't have to feel like you're backed up into something anymore because you're heading towards that King of Wands. You're heading towards some sort of reciprocity here, even if that requires letting go of an old position to enter into a new role, okay? Or it requires you to relocate or upend here in some way. I feel like this Death card is based on, something you have initiated for yourself to create and live a better life. Beautiful. All right. Let's look at love, relationships, partnerships. Okay. Some of you are calling in a new love and you may be moving forward. This is a spiritual connection and you're fully releasing any expectations or any illusions or any fears around this new partnership. And you are saying, I am not going to constantly feel like this is going to end bad or it's going to, I have to be on the lookout. I'm going to let my guard down. I'm going to trust. I'm going to trust in the process here because you have the teddy bear. This is about being interested, interested in dating. Someone is interested in you. I mean, of course, there could even be something fun planned in the month of February here between you and someone that you are connecting with. Blooming romance, flirting, wanting to date. So someone is opening up, right? Someone is opening their heart up to love. And it could certainly be with this King of Wands, a relationship that is based on reciprocity here. This could be spontaneous. This could come out of the blue. You may even travel or go on an adventure with someone that you just met. Now, for those of you that are currently partnered up, maybe this has been a long time connection here. I mean, you could be planning to exit. Okay, you could be planning on a divorce or maybe you've already gone through that divorce. And I feel like you've tried and tried and tried to make something work with the hammer. But there's been sabotage and perhaps too much of it. And I feel like some of you are going to decide to exit, okay, exit a contract. And for others of you, you're going to say, Mel, this is my soulmate. This is my partner. We're going to get through anything. We're going to rebuild, but it takes two. It's going to take two to kind of rebuild this house if something's been broken here. You're going to repair, you're going to work on something if that resonates with you. Now you have abundance. Others of you are like, Mel, I don't care about love. I'm only focusing on my abundance, my finances here. Now, of course, love can show up in all different shapes, sizes, and forms. And I feel like you are embracing the love all around you from maybe your friends or for a love for what you do, a love for self. I mean, some of you are just sitting in that energy of self-love at this time, focusing on your positive mindset, your manifestations, entering into more of that blissful state. And it actually says bliss on this card. You can't make that up. And that's your key theme. This is about blessings and gratitude. And then lastly, we do have soulmates. So this is a life partner. This is a soul contract here. Soul connections, partnerships. So for some of you, you are either in or are calling in a lifelong partnership. Beautiful. All right, last but not least, Leo, you have the sword. So again, I feel like that closely ties to the death card, because the death card is who's holding, that sword. This is about the knife, the blade, the weapon. To use the sword is to decide. The blade separates one reality from another. Oh my gosh. I'm just going to hold up this death card one more time for you to get a good look at. The choice is made and all else falls away. If you find the sword in your grasp, you can no longer hesitate. This weapon requires a clear and decisive mind and a willingness to act. An onlooker may think the sword bearer is hasty and violent, but the most compassionate and responsible gesture is one that is honest, swift, and accurate. Our first encounter with the sword is at birth, when the cord we share with the mother is cut. This moment defines our separation from her and begins our journey of becoming ourself. We must make these cuts again and again if we are to grow. Decisions shape our life, and the sword is an infamous shaper of destiny. Ooh, I got goosebumps here. Absolutely 100%. And in the beginning of the reading, I kept saying, cut off, right? Do you remember that? And I said, wait a second, let's allow it to be, a completion. Because we've completed, right? We've completed a soul contract here. And it's through that humming and hawing and the back and forth and the second guessing that causes pain. That's the pain that we sit in, right? And sometimes it's like pulling out a tooth. I always think of that when I look at this death card as well. Sometimes it's the thought, it's the thinking that causes the most pain. And once we do it, right, it frees us. It feels a lot better. It's the weight lifted from our shoulders. Cutting through to what is essential. When this is in the dark, it's hasty, backstabbing, a dull and painful blade. Have you ever tried cutting something with a dull blade, right? You're just grinding through it. It's causing a big mess. It takes forever. And it's not a clean cut. Like think of trying to cut through a piece of meat. It's messy. And it takes forever and it breaks. It's just not fun. It says here, contemplate the Buddhist philosophy of the first and second arrow. Swing the sword once with precision and commitment. More than that will be painful for everyone involved. Boundary making. Boundaries here. Prioritizing and clarifying are all gestures made possible by the sword. The sword is a metaphor for the pen and the brush, the artist's fierce and graceful tools. Beautiful. If you want to go deeper in this energy, Leo, check out Marina Abramovic's Rhythm series or Caravaggio's Judith Beheading Holofernes. Okay, I'm not familiar with either one of those, but if you want to go further, check that out. This is powerful. I knew that these two were connected, and I'm not too familiar with these archetype cards, although I love them. I love them. If you are interested in any of the decks that you see during the reading, everything is in the description box below. Leo, if this does resonate, please hit that thumbs up button. It certainly helps get the divine channeled messages out there to those that need it most. Thank you again so much for tuning in and being here. Lots of love.